Anger is something we all experience, but it's often misunderstood. It's a powerful emotion that can change the course of our day, our relationships, and even our lives. From the small irritations of waiting in line to the intense outrage that can accompany injustice, anger shapes the way we respond to the world around us. But what exactly is anger? Why does it arise in some situations and not others? And what role does it play in how we navigate our lives? Anger is an emotional response to situations that we perceive as threats, injustices, or frustrations. It's part of the human experience, an automatic reaction designed to help us respond quickly in difficult situations. From a psychological standpoint, anger is a signal. It tells us that something isn't right, that our needs, values, or boundaries are being violated. It may be a simple annoyance, like when someone cuts in line, or a deep, profound sense of injustice, like in the face of systemic oppression. Averill points out that anger can result from both real and perceived threats, activating specific parts of our brain associated with fight-or-flight responses. But while anger is natural, how we express it is shaped by the context and environment around us. Why do we experience anger in the first place? It's not just an emotion, it has an evolutionary purpose. Anger is meant to prepare us to fight or flee when we feel threatened. For early humans, this was crucial for survival. When faced with danger, the body's natural response, heightened by adrenaline and other chemicals, helped them react quickly. But in today's world, danger isn't always physical. Instead, we encounter more emotional or social threats. Research by Sneisser et al. Suggests that anger may have evolved not just to protect us from physical harm, but also to help us assert ourselves in social situations. In fact, people with more power tend to express anger more freely, possibly because they can use it as a tool to assert dominance and maintain control in social hierarchies. Anger is rooted deeply in our biology. When we encounter a situation that triggers anger, our brain reacts immediately. Averill explains that specific regions of the brain, such as the amygdala, activate, triggering a cascade of physiological changes. Our heart rate increases, our muscles tense, and we become hyper-focused on the source of our anger. These physiological changes are part of the body's fight-or-flight response. But in modern society, this reaction doesn't always have the desired effect. While we're not facing physical threats, our bodies respond to emotional threats the same way, causing stress and health problems if left unchecked. Anger isn't the same everywhere. It's shaped by culture, power dynamics, and social expectations. In some cultures, expressing anger is seen as a sign of strength, while in others, it's considered a loss of control. A fascinating study by Sneisser et al. Found that the expression of anger is not uniform across all social levels. People with higher status or more power tend to express anger more freely, as they can use it to assert their authority. On the other hand, people in less powerful positions may suppress their anger to avoid conflict. This suggests that anger plays a role in maintaining fairness and balance in social systems. Thus, anger can be a reflection of power. How we express it, or whether we suppress it, often reflects our place within a social structure. But unchecked anger can be damaging. When we let anger spiral out of control, it can lead to aggression, violence, or deepened conflicts. In fact, chronic anger is linked to serious health risks, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and stress-related disorders. Williams emphasizes that while anger is a natural emotion, it can become toxic when it's not properly managed. If we're constantly angry, it not only affects our relationships with others, but also erodes our mental and physical health. So how do we manage this emotion before it starts harming us? Fortunately, there are ways to manage anger. Techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, and cognitive behavioral strategies can help us reduce the intensity of anger. By focusing on calming the body and mind, we can prevent impulsive reactions that lead to regret. Understanding the triggers that set off our anger is also key. Whether it's stress, miscommunication, or feeling disrespected, identifying these patterns can help us respond more thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. Some people find that channeling their anger into positive outlets, like physical activity or creative expression, can also help them release tension without causing harm to others. While anger can be destructive, it can also be a force for good. Think of the anger that fueled social movements throughout history, anger against inequality, injustice, and oppression. When channeled constructively, anger can become a tool for social change. In fact, many of the greatest movements for justice and equality were sparked by anger at the status quo. The civil rights movement, the fight for women's suffrage, and ongoing efforts to combat racial injustice were all fueled, at least in part, by the righteous anger of people who refused to accept the injustice they faced. In conclusion, anger is a complex emotion with both positive and negative effects. While it can prepare us to protect ourselves, it can also lead to harm if left unchecked. Understanding the roots of our anger, recognizing our triggers, and learning how to channel it productively can help us use anger to our advantage, whether that means improving our personal relationships or standing up for what's right in the world. So, the next time you feel anger rising within you, take a moment to reflect. What is this anger telling me? And how can I use it to make a positive difference?